Oh, okay. I missed one. So here's a nice thing of spores. You can see them, they're microscopic, but you can see them when they're in mass. So if you take any sort of mushroom and put it on like a table like this, like I'm just gonna leave this mushroom on this table, and then when someone comes and like picks it, like takes it away tomorrow, they're gonna see a nice little spore print right on the base of this table. So that's something like a fun little project you can do at home at any time. You make cool patterns, and if you like blow a fan gently, you'll see the airflow get all distorted. It's kind of cool. This was a grow kit, so there's a grow kit right here, and then the mushrooms were fruiting all out of the side. So you have the spores covering the desk, and that's just one night that was left there. So they produced thousands and thousands and thousands of them. Spores go out and they germinate mycelium. So here's some photos of mycelium. Mycelium is what is inside of this bag, right? So all this like white cottony material, that's what the mycelium is, right? And it's growing in this bag, it's growing in sawdust. It's food source. It's consuming the sawdust as it grows out, and that's how it gets the energy to create these mushrooms. Mycelium, like I was saying earlier, is only one cell wall thick, and it secretes all these enzymes into its environment. It shares a lot of pathogens that we have, a lot of microbial pathogens, bacteria, other fungi, yeast. And because it doesn't have a lot of physical protection, it protects itself chemically. So those enzymes I was talking about that digest the food also create this kind of, it's like this chemical warfare almost that's going on with other bacteria that want to come in and start eating the mycelium. So they're creating powerful antibiotics, antifungal compounds that create like a safe area that they grow in. And that's why we get a lot of our medicine. I think right now it's like 70% of any bacterial pharmaceuticals are derived from fungi. Yeah?
The spores, I saw male and female spores. Does it just
Okay.
take one spore to start a mycelium, or does there be some sexual conjugation happening?
Yeah, typically with so we're mostly in the phylum of Basidiomycete. Okay, that's where most of, and you can see that word, I guess it's just Basidia. So this is a life cycle of a Basidiomycete, and that's most of the phylum that the mushrooms we consume are in. There's also Ascomycete, and it's basically those two phylum that all the mushrooms we see come from. And they do have mating types, like an A and a B and a C and a D. And the spores, when they come out of the mushroom, aren't capable of producing another mushroom. It's just like humans, I can't produce another human without a partner. And similar with these spores, they can't create another mushroom without a partner. So they need to mate in some way.
It has to be exactly the same spore from exactly the same mushroom, or is there some sloppiness there?
There's lots of sloppiness, lots of sloppiness. Yeah, good word choice. Yeah, there's a lot of different mating types that can come together, and some that can't. It can be from the same mushroom. It can be from different mushrooms. A lot of variability in the sexual life cycles of fungi.
There are mushroom hybrids.
Mushroom hybrids. What does that mean?
Well, if you're taking one species crossing it with another, you're getting a hybrid.
Yep, there's not. I wouldn't say cross-species hybrids. I've never seen that. There is ways to get different strains and make a new strain, and that, yeah, different. Like I think in plant world it's like called cultivars, or I don't know what. In mushroom world it's called strains. Yeah. So that's the process. That's the A/B sort of thing that you're seeing earlier. And another thing those enzymes I was talking about do is it's like the language that fungi use. And so how do they find a mate in this whole wide world? Where do I find a mate? And it's the enzymes that guide them, right? So they're secreting these enzymes and getting information back, compounds from their surrounding environment, and then that guides their growth. So if they're getting enzymes from a compatible mycelial network, they'll grow towards it. If they're getting enzymes from something that they can't mate with, they'll grow away from it, or they like zone off. Yeah, okay.
Are the mycelium like roots?
My,
Are they getting nutrition to the mushroom?
yeah, the mycelium is how the fungus spends its whole life. So it's only that little snapshot that the fungus is a mushroom. And when it's not there, right, you walk through the woods after it rains and there's all these mushrooms. And then you walk the same path a week later, where'd all the mushrooms go? That mycelial network is always there. And that's in the ground, in the log, in whatever it's growing in. And the mushroom just comes out every now and again. If you're thinking about it in the plant realm, the mycelium is the roots, the tree, the bark, the leaves. It's the whole plant structure. The mushroom is the fruit, right? It's like a tomato. And then the spores are the seed inside of that tomato. Yeah. Cool.
On that end of the room hasn't seen this yet.
Okay. We'll send this over, some lion's mane. Okay, and as cultivators, what we work with is mycelium. Mycelium that's already had that sexual mating and is capable of producing a mushroom. And what's kind of fascinating is that you can go from a mushroom back to mycelium really easily. So I could take this mushroom and just break it open like this, take a little piece of the tissue, put it on a petri plate, and it'll start growing a clone of itself. Right? It just starts growing back to mycelium. And it's kind of like, it's like, what? The mycelium, this, is the same thing as this. Right? And it's like radically different forms, but they're made up of the exact same cells. And there's a lot of we don't really understand how that transition happens.
The closest analogy may be like potatoes, because you can technically, wait for a potato plant to put out, seed. Most
Right.
people will just take a potato, grow it,
Cut it in half.
clone of itself, essentially.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so it could be like a potato. Yeah, you can just clone it and keep expanding it. But it's going to grow a lot faster than a potato. Like I could go from this one mushroom, and probably 5 months later, I could have like 4,000 pounds of this same mushroom. Yeah. So the opportunity for expansion with mycelium is huge, really, really huge. And it's this mycelium that we use as cultivators. That's what we primarily grow, right? If you're growing tomatoes, you got to grow a really healthy tomato plant, and then you get great tomatoes. Same thing with mushrooms. You got to grow really healthy mycelium, give it the environment to grow in, and then you'll get really good, bountiful, beautiful mushrooms.